Hello, friends, and welcome back to Hypothyroid Chef. I'm Ginny Mahar, your thyroid health and cooking coach. If you're anything like me, the holidays are all about gathering with loved ones and really enjoying all of those special holiday meals and celebrations. But as a thyroid thriver, they're also about finding ways to do that without compromising your health and ending up bloated, brain fogged, and tired. It's not really a recipe for a happy holiday season. So today I'm going to set you up for a delicious, show-stopping, and thyroid-healthy holidays. I'll be sharing 25 thyroid-healthy, holiday-worthy recipes that your guests will absolutely love. So whether you're hosting a holiday meal, attending a holiday party, or just planning meals at home, these recipes are going to help you celebrate without ditching your dietary needs or feeling restricted. All right, let's dig in. So, for those of us managing thyroid health, finding dishes that fit our dietary needs and also taste amazing can feel a little bit tricky. So, that's why I put together this list of 25 recipes that aren't just holiday worthy, but they're also thyroid friendly. So, before we dive in, I do have a few important things for you to know about these recipes. All of them are gluten and dairy free. Most of them are also paleo, Whole30, and AIP compliant. And more than that, these recipes also taste as good as they feel. I've included a full menu of different recipe categories, including starts and snacks, festive main dishes, sensational sides, and seasonal sweet treats. And I've even thrown in a few recipes that make great edible gifts for your friends and loved ones. All of these recipes are available for free on the Hypothyroid Chef blog. So if you like what you see, just click that link in the video description and it will take you straight to this holiday recipe collection. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from you. All right, without further ado, let's dig into these 25 thyroid healthy holiday recipes your guests will devour, starting with some scrumptious party food options in our starts and snacks category. First up, one of my favorite holiday appetizers, these cranberry cocktail meatballs. So these are based on memory from when I was a kid. Some family friends of ours threw a Christmas party every year, and they always had these meatballs in a crock pot that were so good. As a kid, I just loved them. And later, as an adult, when I tried to make them myself, I found out they were actually made with grape jelly. So maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. So I wanted to make a cleaner version of that recipe, but that's what inspired these cranberry cocktail meatballs. And not only are they gluten-free and dairy-free, they also are actually paleo and AIP compliant. They're also totally delicious. I made them using fresh cranberries and orange, rosemary. They're just a really wonderful holiday party food. And they're perfect for serving on cocktail picks. That's always kind of a fun thing with party food. The same is true for recipe number two, bacon wrapped dates. These are wonderful, on the end of a cocktail pick, and they're just a wonderful finger food for parties that work for numerous dietary needs, including gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, and also AIP. So these bacon wrap dates, it really couldn't be easier or more crowd pleasing. You just wrap up dates in bacon, put them on a baking sheet, pop them in the oven, and you end up with these oven baked, chewy, crisp, salty, sweet bites. Number three are my Italian sausage stuffed mini peppers. Now, these were inspired by Italian sausage and peppers. If any of you are familiar with that classic sandwich, I wanted all the flavors of that in a, bite-sized appetizer. So this is just a wonderful, colorful way to use those really beautiful mini peppers and stuff them with a homemade sweet Italian sausage blend, herbs, and caramelized onions. It's all the goodness of Italian sausage and peppers packed into one delicious, mouth-watering bite. Number four is my spiced chicken liver pate with green peppercorns. Now, don't run away. I know liver is kind of a polarizing ingredient. It also happens to be one of the most nutrient dense foods there is. And as thyroid thrivers, it's packed with nutrients that are thyroid friendly, thyroid supportive, energy supportive. So, this is a wonderful, delicious way and party friendly way to enjoy liver with this spiced chicken liver pate. So, I throw in a bunch of aromatic spices. There is a splash of apple brandy in there and some briny pickled peppercorns to add that, secret ingredient and create a really nourishing and scrumptious way to eat your liver. Number 5 is my artichoke dip with garlic and green olives. This is another recipe that's not just gluten and dairy free, but also paleo and AIP. And it also happens to be vegan for any of your party guests who happen to, be plant-based. So this is just a delicious way to make use of canned artichoke hearts. You throw them in a food processor with fresh herbs, garlic, lemon zest, and the secret ingredient in this one are some really nice, salty, briny green olives. So you're going to love this one. It's wonderful on your favorite gluten-free crackers or veggie sticks. Number 6 is a major crowd pleaser, prosciutto wrapped asparagus. So you take bright green shoots of asparagus, wrap them with paper thin slices of prosciutto, roast them in the oven, and then you can just eat them, as finger food. It's like the most delicious French fry type alternative. And these are another option that's really great for all of your party guests, as long as they eat animal protein. These are gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, and AIP. Number 7, my sweet and spicy pumpkin seed brittle. This is just so easy to make. It's a totally addicting snack. I love to make it during the holidays and put it on a charcuterie board with some other, little nibbles and tidbits. It's gorgeous. It's that got that like crunchy, sweet, salty blend going on. So for these, you toss some pumpkin seeds with a chili maple blend and then bake them in the oven, and they turn into this breakable, munchable brittle that is dangerously addicting and just a wonderful addition to any kind of gathering. Number 8, BLT deviled eggs. So, deviled eggs, I find, are always one of the first things to disappear at any party I serve them at. And these combine that classic, most beloved sandwich of bacon, lettuce, and tomato, but in a deviled egg form. So, these are just they're going to be the first thing to disappear. And no matter what occasion you make these for, they're great all year round. Nobody's going to mind if you make these. Next up is my super festive arugula lemon pesto with beet chips. Now this has a really spicy kick in the pesto from that peppery arugula, fresh garlic, lemon zest, toasted pine nuts, extra virgin olive oil. It is explosively delicious. And then when you pair it with beet chips, you can get dehydrated beet chips. There's different beet chips you can purchase at the store. You can make homemade beet chips, but that green and red color combo is so super festive. I love to serve this at the holidays. It's always kind of a surprise to people who think that, oh, I don't like beets, I'm not going to like that. And then they try it and they're surprised. But let's set you up with some good options for some holiday worthy main dishes. So, recipe number 10, my stuffed delicata squash with sausage, greens, and garlic. This is gluten-free, dairy-free, and paleo. And I love this recipe because not only does it make use of my homemade sweet Italian sausage, but it really plays those savory elements off the sweet elements. So you've got your sweet delicata squash, and then you've got your savory sage and garlic and greens. It's just absolutely delicious and really wonderful during that holiday season. Recipe number 11, my chicken saltimbocca. Now, this is something I thought that I won't be able to enjoy chicken saltimbocca anymore now that I'm gluten free because it's dusted in flour. It's one of those recipes that, you get like a nice crispy outer crust on that chicken. The chicken is wrapped in prosciutto. There's sage leaves tucked inside there as a secret aromatic ingredient. And this is just absolutely wonderful. It's got a lemony gravy on it that is thickened with cassava flour. So this recipe actually also happens to be gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, and AIP. And one little trivia tidbit for you is that saltimbocca translated actually means jumps in the mouth. And that's so true with this recipe. It's one of my family's absolute favorites. Recipe number 12 is my loaded Mediterranean salmon. This is another recipe that's gluten-free, dairy-free, and paleo. And what I love about this recipe is that you throw everything into a baking dish. You can do it ahead of the party. When your guests get there, all you do is pop it in the oven, cook it up, and it's done. It's also super colorful. It dazzles the eye, it tickles the taste buds. The salmon is topped with tomatoes, artichoke hearts, fennel, Kalamata olives, pesto. It's so delicious. There's so many goodies packed into there. It's kind of like a one dish meal. I love to serve it with saffron rice. That's always a big hit and something I make use of a lot when I'm doing a lot of entertaining, like during the holidays. Recipe number 13 is my pumpkin sage macaroni and cheese with crispy shallot topping. So, this is another sweet and savory blend that is so mouth-watering. It's made with roasted winter squash, which gives it this gorgeous orange color, and fresh sage, and then that sprinkling of crispy fried shallots on top just puts it over the top. This is one of the very few ways that I can get my kiddo to eat winter squash. He loves this macaroni and cheese, and it makes a fantastic side for your holiday gatherings. Number 14 is Hoppin' John soup. So, Hoppin' John is actually a traditional Southern New Year's dish eaten on New Year's Day to ensure good luck in the coming year. So, I wanted to try and turn this into a soup, and the results were so delicious. So, it's really kind of a riff on that traditional Hoppin' John with black-eyed peas, greens, and tons of colorful veggies, bone broth. It's so soul nourishing and delicious. We always make a pot of this around the new year. All right, moving on to our next recipe category, sensational sides. So, first up, we've got green beans with sun-dried tomatoes, garlic, and almonds. And what I love about this at the holidays is it's got that red, green, and white color combo. That's so classic and festive and delicious. And this also is a recipe that I have been making for probably 20 years. It's a family favorite. We eat it all the time. That combination of sliced and toasted garlic coins, toasted almonds, sun-dried tomatoes that have been a little bit browned, and then just a tiny touch of lemon really jazz these up. They're gorgeous, they're flavorful, they're colorful, and they're super holiday friendly. Number 16, Chex Mix inspired delicata rings. So, another mouth-watering way to enjoy winter squash. Delicata squash is wonderful because you don't have to completely peel it. The peel is so thin that you can actually eat it. And it's really gorgeous when you slice it into rounds and then roast it on a sheet pan, get some of those little bubbly, crisp brown edges on there. And what I use to season this is actually a baste that's inspired by that classic holiday favorite, Chex Mix. That's something that we always had when I was growing up. So whenever the holidays roll around, I always end up craving Chex Mix. And this is one of the delicious thyroid healthy ways that I've incorporated those flavors into my recipes. So this is a lot more than just, a starchy side or a crunchy snack mix. It does taste reminiscent of that. But again, those savory seasonings really play so deliciously off the natural sweetness of the delicata squash. Recipe number 17, olive oil, mashed cauliflower, and sweet potatoes. Now, I've also got a recipe on the Hypothyroid Chef blog for classic gluten and dairy-free mashed potatoes and gravy. But this option happens to be gluten-free, dairy-free paleo and AIP friendly. And this mashed potato alternative is really savory and it's made really rich with extra virgin olive oil, garlic, and rosemary. So those mild and starchy white sweet potatoes are what give this its fluff. white sweet potatoes are not as sweet as the orange varieties. So they're a little bit more of a close stand-in for regular white potatoes. And then that cauliflower also adds moisture and nutty flavor. It's absolutely delicious. And this one also happens to be vegan friendly for any of you plant-based thyroid thrivers or any of your friends, family, or loved ones who you're sharing meals with at the holidays who happen to be plant-based. Recipe number 18 is my mashed winter squash served three ways. So I've got three different flavoring options available for you based on this base recipe that I make with bone broth. And I usually throw a little bit of ghee in there, which is a wonderful way to get that delicious, rich, buttery flavor without getting a lot of dairy solids. So even though ghee is technically made from cow's milk, a lot of experts consider ghee dairy-free because there's so few like actual milk solids in there. It's like clarified butter is essentially what ghee is, but it just gives us that really delicious mouthfeel and richness. It's so versatile, it's so easy, it's so delicious. And I've included options that are sweet, savory, garlicky, sage, herbs, star anise, Chinese five spice. You'll see. You can check out the recipe and decide which type of winter squash is going to pair best with whatever you're making for your holiday meals. Recipe number 19 is another one of our family favorites, sheet pan green beans with mushrooms and bacon. This one was actually created by my husband, so I got to give him some credit here. But what you do is you take a sheet pan, you crank up that oven heat, you throw on some green beans, chopped bacon, and mushrooms, and let that heat and the sheet pan do the work for you. They come out of the oven so crispy, so caramelized, so flavorful. It's so simple and easy to throw together, but absolutely show-stopping as a side dish and a wonderful alternative to, for those of you who might be looking to kind of update like the green bean casserole or some of those, other really gluten and dairy rich veggie sides that you're wanting to kind of, make a little bit more more sexy, more thyroid friendly, more in line with your health goals and needs. Recipe number 20 are bacon and chive scallop sweet potatoes. This was a recipe shared with me by Dr. Isabella Wentz from her Hashimoto's cookbook. So she takes thinly sliced sweet potato, bacon, onions, and then pours over coconut milk. Pop it in the oven. It's so delicious. It's one of the few ways my husband enjoys orange sweet potatoes. He's not a huge fan of those, but he's like, this is really, really good. And it would be a wonderful and welcome addition to any holiday feast. Recipe number 21, circling back to those gluten and dairy-free mashed potatoes and gravy I mentioned before. So these are gluten-free, dairy-free, and paleo for those of you who do white potatoes on your paleo approach. A lot of the kind of updated guidelines for paleo do allow white potatoes. So anyway, that's just kind of a gray area there with paleo, but these really are a remake of a classic that nobody knows the difference. And the dairy-free mashed potatoes, typically made with milk or sour cream or heavy cream or half and half, are actually made with a combination of rich bone broth and a clean mayonnaise. You'd never know it, but they really do mimic those classic mashed potatoes. They look and taste just like the real deal. And to top it off, you got to have the real deal gravy. So again, this is just a delicious classic holiday essential recipe. And I've thickened that gravy again with cassava flour. That's a wonderful, like the best substitute I've found for thickening sauces is cassava flour, and it makes a delicious gravy where you can use your pan drippings from your Thanksgiving turkey or your holiday turkey. You can also just use bone broth to make this. So really, really wonderful. My son, who is a gravy connoisseur, asks for this all the time. And so I know that this one passes the kid test. And if I don't mention it, nobody knows the difference that these are actually gluten and dairy-free mashed potatoes and gravy. All right, let's get to everyone's favorite category, seasonal sweet treats. So, recipe number 22 are hot curried pears with pomegranate. In our house, we actually call these Christmas pears. I have been eating a version of this every single Christmas of my entire life, are roasted curried pears every morning. So, you throw in a little bit of that ghee we talked about for that rich buttery flavor, some curry powder, a little bit of coconut sugar, and then pop them in the oven to tenderize them, give them a little bit of, brown color. Then I make it super festive by sprinkling it with those nutritional gemstones known as pomegranate seeds, which also happen to be one of the most nutrient dense foods there is. So this is delicious. It's nutritious. It's eye-popping. It's such a delight. We love having this with our Christmas morning brunch. Recipe number 3 is my chocolate cherry almond granola. Now, this is indulgent. It's delicious. It's got that crunch of the nuts, some seeds. It's got dark chocolate. It's got those rich, chewy cherries in it. You could almost think of this as like a deconstructed cookie, and I call it yum in a bowl with benefits. So the reason I included this in our holiday recipe roundup is it makes a really wonderful edible gift. I've actually got a couple different granola recipes on the Hypothyroid Chef blog. There's this chocolate cherry almond granola, and I also have a coconut macadamia granola. Both of these I make often at holiday time to gift to friends. It's just such a delicious and, kind of surprising treat for people to show up with a bag of homemade granola. People love it. It never goes to waste, and it's absolutely delicious. Number 24 is another perfect holiday edible gift, my caramel nut chocolate bark. So this doesn't actually have any caramel in it. The caramely goodness comes from chopped, sticky sweet medjool dates. It's sprinkled with chia seeds, sea salt. It's packed with nuts. You could use something like Brazil nuts for added selenium to make it really thyroid healthy. But the thing I love about chocolate bark is it's so easy to make and you can get creative. There's a lot of different things you can toss into the mix here. I've been experimenting lately with one using candied ginger that's absolutely delicious. But this caramel nut chocolate bark just has all that like chewy, salty, sweet, crunchy, nutty goodness in it. And you can make a big batch, spread it on a, parchment lined sheet pan, let it harden, break it into pieces, and then wrap it up in little baggies or boxes. It's an absolutely delicious edible gift that really shows people like, I care about you. I want you to enjoy treats, and I also want to support your health. So I love this caramel nut chocolate bark as an edible gift. And then last but not least, one of my absolute favorite holiday treats, pecan date dreams. So these dreamy stuffed dates are filled with a coconut butter filling that's sweetened with a little bit of maple syrup. There's a little bit of sea salt on there. I tend to do that a lot and use a lot of chocolate too. A lot of chocolate, a lot of sea salt to counter that sweetness. That's just me. You can, tailor this to suit your taste. But these are really, really delicious. My family absolutely loves them. You top that coconut butter stuffed date with crunchy pecans and then drizzle melted chocolate over it that hardens. I think of these as almost like a homemade Snickers bar that is whole foods based, filled with nutrients, gluten-free, dairy-free, paleo, holiday friendly, and absolutely delicious. Best of all, they take less than 20 minutes to throw together. If you're looking for more thyroid-friendly recipe inspiration, I've got you covered. My Thyroid Healthy Everyday E-Cookbook features over 50 quick and easy thyroid-friendly recipes that your whole family will love. You can take a peek inside. I'll put that link in the show notes as well for you. But you can download your copy today. It's a great way to support my channel and get some delicious, mouth-watering exclusive recipes to choose from for your holiday feasts. All right, friends, I hope this list has inspired you and given you some yummy ideas for how you can create a thyroid-friendly holiday menu that everyone will love. Again, you can find all the recipes I showed you today, plus more tips for thyroid healthy living on my blog at hypothyroidchef.com. The link for this recipe roundup can be found in the description. I've linked to that full blog post, so you can head over there to grab your favorites from today's video and make your holidays truly magical. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which of these recipes you're most excited to try this holiday season. Thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you a joyful, stress-free, and thyroid-friendly holiday season. I'll see you next time.